Okay, so I'm gonna work on now the second model in Inventor. And again, we're gonna be doing one that we've already done in AutoCAD. So once again, under the templates, I'm gonna go to the metric section and then standard millimeter template I'm gonna use. So to start, I'm gonna go to start 2D sketch. Once again, every 3D model is based off of a two-dimensional sketch. And I'm gonna pick my plane that I want to start sketching on. So I'm going to choose the XY plane here. And we're going to be working on this particular drawing. So once again, I'm going to be drawing the side profile on the XY plane. This over here. So I'm going to go to the line command for that. And I'm going to anchor my line to the origin point. So as you can see, I'm on the X0 and the Y0. And I'm going to move it over 10 spots. And it's going to come up 1. Whoops. Let me try that again there. So it's going to come over 10. Press enter, it's going to come up 1, press enter, and then it's going to come over 5. And enter. And then we don't know what that angle is quite yet, so I'm going to draw another line from the origin point up. And that's going to go up 6. I'm going to bring it over 1. And now I'm going to snap it down to that bottom horizontal line. Keeping in mind that I want that circle, that node, to turn green. And that's how I know it's going to snap. Now all my lines have turned black. Again, that means that my sketch is fully constrained. While we're still in 2 dimensions, what I can do is fillet and round over this corner here. So I'm going to go into the fillet tool up top. I'm going to create a fillet with a radius of 1. And then I'm going to click this line and that line there. And at this point I am done my 2-dimensional sketch. So I'm going to press finish sketch, and you'll see that the sketch now here appears on my in that window there. So once again, I'm going to right click and turn off my dimensions. Now you see I have an extra line there. So to get rid of that line, we can't just delete it. Now that we've exited out of that sketch, I can no longer edit or manipulate that sketch. What I gotta do is I can right click on my sketch 1 here, and then I can find edit. So edit sketch right here, and now I'm back into sketch mode. So I'm going to click on that line and delete it. Looks like I accidentally created 2 of them. You'll also notice that my sketch is no longer fully constrained. So what I need here, it looks like, is a dimension. So I'm going to add that here. So dimension from that point to that point. It's going to be 9. Enter. I can add a dimension here as well. And now it's all fully constrained. It all has dimensions. So I'm going to go to finish sketch. And now I can start to think about creating a 3rd dimension to it. So I'm going to go to the 3D model, which is going to be my default tab. After I've completed the sketch, I'm going to go to extrude. It's looking already for the bounded area, the only bounded area in my drawing. And now I'm going to provide a distance for it. And you'll notice I have a direction here, so I can go in the other direction if I want, or I can split it and go in different directions. So it doesn't really matter, I'm just going to go in one direction here as long as it's 5 units of measurement long. So again, I have little timeline of things that I've done. So my extrusion is related to my sketch, so I'm going to find my sketch under the flyout for the extrusion one. They are related now. So now that I got this done, I'm gonna add my hole in the center of it. So despite what you might think, I'm not gonna use the hole tool for that. I'm gonna go into another sketch. So I'm gonna go to Start 2D Sketch, and this time it's similar to the way that Dynamic UCS works in AutoCAD. As soon as you hover over a particular surface, it's going to highlight, and that's going to be the surface that you now do your sketch on. So I'm going to click on this slope, and now it provides you with an orthographic projection of that particular slope, which is kind of handy. So once again, if we take a look at the drawing here, I know that I have the top of my circle starting at 1.8 down from the bottom, and the center of the circle is going to be 3.2. So that's going to make the circle have a radius of 1.4. So I'm going to create that. Now I have a snap point to the center of that line that automatically pops up, and you'll see that it turns green. So I'm going to bring that down 3.2 millimeters. Escape, and then that's going to mark the center of my circle. So the center of my circle is going to have a radius of 1.4. So one of the main differences, again, between Inventor and AutoCAD is that by default the circles are drawn in diameter rather than radius. So the radius was going to be 1.4, so that makes the diameter 2.8. So I'll type that in, and there's my circle. Now I can absolutely leave that line in, it doesn't really matter. So at this point I'm done my sketch, so I'm going to go up here to finish sketch, and now I can start adding that three-dimensional quality to it. So I'm going to go under 3D model, go to extrude, and again it's going to, by default, click that bounded area, the only bounded area in my model, and by default it gives me a measurement of 5. What I want to do is I'm going to go to my output and change it from a join option to a cut option. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to give it a distance of -1. So now that circle is going to be inset into, oh sorry, I'm just going to go 1. So by going to the Boolean option of cut and then clicking 1, it gives me a depth of 1 millimeter. Alright, now I'm going to go back to my fillet tool, and I'm going to give that inside radius a fillet of 0.8, so I'll enter that into the window there. Oh, sorry, 0.2. And I'm going to select that loop, press enter. So now I got my fillet in there, much easier and more intuitive than AutoCAD. And I'll go to fillet again. I'm going to round over the corners at the bottom, so that's got a radius of 1. And I'm going to click on both those corners there. 1 and 1, press OK. Alright, the last thing I got to do is create those holes that have the same center point as the arcs that I just created, or the fillet. So I'm going to go to hole. And here I also got like a few options here. So the first thing I want to do is select the position, So I'm gonna throw a hole right there, and oftentimes in Inventor you're gonna create something and then move it into position, which again works a little bit different in AutoCAD. So I have my hole there. It automatically by default came up as 1 millimeter diameter, which is what I actually want. And now I want to move it to have the same center point as this corner here. So if I click on that corner, it's actually going to do that by default. And so now if I orbit around a little bit, it shares the same center point as that arc there. I'm going to press enter. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side here. So I'm going to go hole command, place it on top of the surface there, and then click on that fillet so that it shares the same. I have options for my hole of going like doing a simple hole, a through hole, clearance hole, tapped hole, all sorts of options. So those are a little more advanced for what we're going to be doing, but we can go over those perhaps at a different time. So I'm going to press OK at that point, and there is my model. Much easier doing it, I think, in Inventor than it was in AutoCAD.